Once upon a time, in a lush and fertile garden, three friends had just finished reaping their harvest. There was a mighty lion, a quick-witted fox, and a small, humble rabbit. They had all worked together, tilling the soil, planting the seeds, and now they had a huge pile of fruits, vegetables, and grains to show for their efforts. The food was gathered in one large mound, ready to be divided among them. The lion, being the strongest and most imposing of the three, took charge. He puffed out his chest and looked down at the rabbit. "Rabbit," he roared, "you are known for being quick and precise. I command you to divide this food for us." The rabbit, trembling slightly under the lion's gaze, immediately got to work. He scurried around the pile, carefully separating the harvest into 3 distinct shares. After a few minutes of diligent work, the rabbit presented his division. There was one very large pile, a medium-sized pile, and a small pile. The rabbit stood proudly beside his creation and announced his logic. "My friends," he squeaked, "I have divided the food based on our sizes, which seems only fair. The largest share," he pointed a small paw, "is for our great friend, the lion. The medium share is for the clever fox. And this small pile," he said, gesturing to the smallest one, "will be for me, as it is just right for my size." The rabbit looked up, expecting praise for his fair and logical approach. But the lion's face had grown dark. His eyes narrowed and a low growl rumbled in his chest. "You think this is fair?" he snarled. Before the rabbit could even react, the lion swung his massive paw, striking the poor creature with his powerful claws. The rabbit was gone in an instant, a silent testament to the lion's fury. A tense silence fell over the garden. The lion then turned his cold, hard stare upon the fox, who had been watching the entire scene unfold with wide, cautious eyes. "Now, Fox," the lion said, his voice dangerously calm, "it's your turn. Tell me, how would you divide this food?" The fox, whose Turkish name Tilki is synonymous with cunning, knew that his life depended on his answer. He took a deep breath, his mind racing. He couldn't afford to make the same mistake as the rabbit. He had to be smarter. He bowed his head respectfully and approached the piles of food. With a newfound air of confidence, the fox began to speak, his voice steady and measured. "Oh, mighty lion," he began, "your wisdom is as great as your strength. My method for dividing this glorious feast is quite simple, and designed entirely for your satisfaction." The lion listened intently, a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. The fox pointed to the smallest pile, the one the rabbit had claimed for himself. "This small portion," he announced, "is clearly just enough for your breakfast. A light start to your royal day." He then moved to the medium pile. "This second share, a more substantial amount, will serve as your well-deserved lunch to keep your energy high." Finally, he gestured dramatically towards the largest pile, the one originally intended for the lion. "And this grandest portion of all," the fox declared with a flourish, "I humbly recommend you save for your supper. A magnificent feast to end your day, befitting a king." A slow smile spread across the lion's face. He was immensely pleased. He let out a soft chuckle, a sound much more comforting than his earlier growl. "Well, well, my clever fox," the lion said, looking genuinely impressed. "This is a truly magnificent and thoughtful division. I must say, I am very satisfied. But tell me," he leaned in closer, "where did you learn such a kind and wonderfully fair way of distributing things?" The fox looked at the spot where the rabbit had been just moments before. He met the lion's gaze without flinching and replied, "I learned it from the rabbit, Your Majesty. I learned it from the rabbit's foolishness." The moral of this story is simple but powerful. Always learn from the mistakes of others. Being observant and adaptable can be the key to survival and success, especially when you're dealing with those more powerful than you. If you enjoyed this story and the lesson it holds, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more tales of wisdom. Thanks for watching.